So, with that in mind, we're looking at this thing called God, insofar as God is all there is. There is only God. You and I can say that so easily. God is all there is. But what does that mean? I know there was a time in my life, and don't tell anybody, as I said this morning, I said this because I was sick and tired of hearing that phrase. Because I was wondering, what does that mean? What does that mean, you see? Does that make a difference to me and to anybody else and to life in general? And of course it does. It does. So God is all there is. And I think that the difficulty for us and the challenge for us is our perceptions of words and concepts. And we have to really hone our perception of words and concepts. Because when we talk of God, what we're talking about is life in capitals. We're talking about good. We're talking about love. We're talking about dynamics and energetics. We're talking about power, a force, an energy, a presence is what we're talking about. And so we have to come to the realization once and for all, as much as we don't want to sometimes, God is not a person. God is not a form. God creates forms. So we have to go through the process, and for me it was a mourning process to let go the idea that God was not a person, be a person, super person, be that. Something like a Gandalf or a Dumbledore or, someone like that, the long beard, and for my white robes, not the black ones that the wizards have, but the white robe and so on. And some physical form that you could get yourself around. And so I had to go through the mourning of that, and it was mourning. It really was. But I have to say to you that the understanding of good and life and God and love as this powerful presence, an ever-present presence, is so much more an experience for me than the God as a person ever was. It's so much more expansive. It's so much more an interior as well as an exterior experience. And because I really have that sense and sensibility of God now as a presence, not only do I feel God, but I see God and I hear God in a way I never used to. That presence and that power I see in a sunrise, in a sunset, in a baby's smile, in somebody's chuckle, whatever. And so many ways. I hear it in so many wonderful ways too. I hear it in the breeze moving through the trees. I hear it in the rivers as they gurgle along. I hear it in the force and the power of the sea. I hear it in the great music that's amongst us. I hear it in the praise and the blessing of a friend. I hear it in so many ways I never did before. So it's a feeling and a hearing and a seeing for me that's so profound and expansive, now than what it was before. Before it was kind of like, well, take a ticket, and when God is ready, maybe God might show up, and you'll have a sense that God is somewhere around and about, up there somewhere. But now it's so different. There isn't a spot where God is a different feel and experience to it than, your soul being in the state of grace one minute and out of it the next, which is an impossibility, because if we were ever out of the state of grace, we would be obliterated. We couldn't exist. And then all of the cosmos would implode upon itself, because the one component that was necessary for it to be itself had been eliminated, me. That's how important you are. If you didn't exist, nothing could exist. If you didn't exist, no thing could exist, because you are an essential element in that whole process of life, knowing itself and becoming itself through its form, through its creation, more and more and more and more. And that's how God, by means of you, evolves in form. Becoming more and more and more all the time. So God is all there is an amazing thing to know. And it's more an amazing thing to experience. And so we have to look at those words, God, good, life, and love. Not as the world looks at those words. Because when we think of God, oh, you know, the all-giving God, the way we look at God is the all-giving God. The God who never withholds any good, the God who always wants our good, the God whose only divine design was that we should have life and have it in abundance, and that our joy should be complete, and that we would know peace that passes understanding. That's the only divine design for you and for me, nothing else. Nothing else. And the way we see God as the perfect one to give us the freedom to discover that ourselves and not interfere with the process. And because that's the case, sometimes God looks like hard and harsh. Because God didn't come to my rescue and didn't do it for me. Whatever it is that we go to when challenges come our way. It's not that. It's because God, life, good, love knows you're a sovereign being. You can manage this. You can handle this. You can solve the conundrum. You can get around this. You'll come through this, and you'll be the better for it. And that in the end, good comes out of every single thing, and all is always well. All is always well. In the throes of something terrible, if you can say to yourself, all is well, and good comes out of this, you will get through whatever it is very much more quickly than if you're questioning it. Questioning it. We have somebody in the room who did exactly that. John is with us today, who fell off a roof and landed on his back. And I talked to him, I don't know whether it was the day it happened or the day after, and he's giddy with delight. He said, oh, there's a great lot of things in this for me to really benefit from, and I feel great, and so on, It's amazing what can happen when you come to a challenge with that kind of experience. And that kind of decision around it. You look at good. Now, good, we think of good, oh, that's good. When life is going our way, we say, oh, life is good. When something pleasing happens, we say it's good. When something delightful happens, it's good, and so on and so forth. But that's not the way good is to be defined in this sense. Good is defined as something that's solid, something that's sovereign, something that is truth, something that is not going to step down an iota from the idea of you are a complete and whole and sovereign individualized expression of the magnificence of life itself. And it's not going to see you as anything other than that. That's the kind of good we're talking about. And love is the very same. We're talking about agape love. The Greek word is agape love. And it's something, again, that is relentless and solid and strong and whole and is truth. All of these terms are truth-filled. And the truth will not step aside from the truth. It's always going to maintain the truth. So I could call any of these words truth. God, love, good, whatever. Truth. And the truth is very, very exacting and very demanding and commanding, and leaves us to discover who we are, what we are, and whose we are, so that we can move through anything once we know that. So the answer to any challenge is, in all things give thanks. That's what the sacred writings say. In all things give thanks. It doesn't say when things are going right, give thanks. When you're feeling good, give thanks. It says, in all things give thanks. In all things state and proclaim all is well. In all things state and proclaim good comes out of this. And if you can do that, if I can do that, and if we can stick to our guns even when we've said it and it gets worse and worse and worse and worse and worse, and the ship is sinking, 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 and you're up to here with water, if you could say, all is well, good comes out of this, it'll start going down. When you really mean it. When you really have surrendered and you really mean it, it'll start going down. So, of course, the scriptures say across the board that God is love. It's the word they like to choose best for what God, good life is, love. But they're not talking about sticky, wicky, romantic, syrupy, celluloid, on the screen, digital love, whatever that is. That's not love, it's something else. It's talking about something that's truth-filled all the time, solid, whole, that which you can rely upon, count upon, that's the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And that somehow there's a capacity in you and in me to come to that. You see, we don't really discover or find love. Love finds us. We don't find love. Love finds us, like truth finds us. It's an interior realization when we have a sense of what truth and love and life and God is. It's not that we go forth and seek it and find it. It finds us, in the sense that it's a revelation from within us. It never was anywhere else except here. And we discover that when we persist in authentically following whatever we're to follow in order to spiritually realize ourselves. And that's why we're all here, because we are deeply, keenly interested in our authentic spiritual unfoldment. Otherwise, we'd be having a great time in our pajamas still, some of us sipping tea, reading the newspaper or a good book or whatever, walking along the beach and so on and so forth, wouldn't we? But somehow we get it, that there's something for us to know and that we can help each other in knowing it, when so many of us of like mind come together under a common purpose, self-realization, God realization, and there's a dynamic there, there's an energetic there that you won't get anywhere else. So here we are. So love will do the deed, always, whatever that is. And when we look at that, we see, as Emmanuel tells us, there are two books called Emmanuel and then Emmanuel 2, and it's a channel, it's an energy that's channeled. And Emmanuel says, you know, love is not something that you can get. Love is something that is. It's not something you can practice. It's something that already is, and isness is isness. But he said what we can do is practice the decision to love. I choose love. That's a decision. We can do that. And love is always associated with givingness. Giving. See, that's the true sign of a lover. Someone who gives. Go to the back of the glossary, our book, and it says that spirit or love is the givingness of life back onto itself. We are invited to all the time give ourselves away. Give ourselves away. That's the only reason why we're here. Why? Because spirit is the givingness of life back onto itself. You are an aspect of spirit. You're of the very same essence, so consequently you are here to be the givingness of life back onto itself. Oh, I love what Emerson says. He says, rings and jewels are not gifts. Darn it. But excuses for gifts. The real gift is, give a portion of yourself away. That's the real gift. A portion of yourself, give it away. That's the real gift. So, not only are we in the understanding of what gifting is all about, it's not about giving, it's not about spending and giving cash, it's about giving ourselves as well, according to that definition. And Longfellow says, give whatever it is you have. Start where you are. Give whatever it is you have to give. Who knows? It might turn out to be greater than anything you dared imagine. So give whatever it is you have to give. So now we're not going to get away from understanding life as love if we don't understand that we're here to give. Not get, but to give. But the irony of that is you cannot give without getting. Every time you give, something comes back to you, something comes back to you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. If you're giving out negation, that's going to come right back to you. But we are here to give life unto each other. Life in any kind of form, shape, make, way. That's what we're here to do. Now, if you go and you want to know what a philosopher or an author or a great teacher or a great spiritual leader is all about, go to their speeches, look up their speeches and see what they're saying. You get a good idea what they're about. Now, if you want to know what the great master teacher Jesus was all about, go to his greatest speech of all. I love it. The Beatitudes. This is your homework for this week, to look up the Beatitudes. You will find the Beatitudes in Mark chapter 5 to chapter 7, Luke chapter 6, verse 17 to 49. If you can't remember this, get the CD. It's important. So, you find this teacher par excellence there coming to give something to the people. It's interesting, he doesn't start out, thou shalt not, and thou shalt not. You must, you must, you must. He doesn't come and present himself as somebody who's going to tell you what to do. He stands in front of everybody showing us what to be. So it begins, blessed. Blessed are the pure in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now, blessed, again, you must understand the words. Blessed in this context means the wishing of another abundance and prosperity. That's what blessing means in this context. Blessed are the pure in spirit, and spirit in this context has its root in the word pride. Blessed are the poor in pride, the prideless. For theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And heaven in this context has the Greek root that means expanding, expansion. Blessed, blessed, abundant are the poor in pride, for theirs is the kingdom of expansion, and theirs is the awareness of love. That's what that means. It would be a lovely thing to task yourself with producing the Beatitudes in modern language, you know. That would be a lovely thing to do. But you see a whole different sense and sensibility about that energetic in that statement now. It's not blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom. And that has been interpreted so very many times in many Christian settings as poverty is to be embraced and it's a wonderful thing. God knows I was married to it, vowed to it for 7 years, to holy poverty. To holy poverty. There's nothing holy about poverty. It's rubbish. Jesus wore the garment of the rich, the wealthy, the seamless white garment of the wealthy. And nowhere does he say that poverty is to be worshipped and embraced. It takes money to be successful and do good. It takes money. Money is God in action, as Raymond Charles Barker has pointed out to us all. Money is God in action. It gives us a means to be able to do good on this plane. So what is called from you and what is called from me when we're coming into the awareness that God is all there is the understanding that life is on our side. Life supports us. Life wants only our good. Life is always available to us as a very real and present help. Life. But how many of us are alive? Wouldn't it be lovely if somebody could walk up to you and say with absolute certainty and surety and bravado and gusto, she's alive, he's alive? Most of us are the living dead at times, walking around. Not even walking around, slumped in our chair and vegetating in front of a television or whatever. And I'm not saying that sitting in front of a television is bad. It's not. If you're watching great programs, it's terrific. If it's inspirational, if it's inspiring you, if it's lifting you up, if it's making you want to get out there and make a difference, that's beautiful. Or if it's just making you laugh, because laughter is the best medicine, the really best medicine. If it's messing you up, don't watch it. If it's annoying you, don't watch it. If it's scaring you, don't watch it. If it's frightening you, don't watch it. Why would you? So everything is good depending upon which way we use it and react and interact with it. So coming back to you and to me, my dear ones, my goodness me, you have no idea how blessed and great and beautiful and wonderful and magnificent and terrific and individualized you are. None whatsoever, neither do I. We're starting to get a little glimpse of it. But the problem is we don't trust the Spirit and the power and the presence of God within ourselves. And it's very, very hard when you're in the throes of misery and grief and loss and pain and sorrow and sadness to be able to shake yourself up enough to say, good comes out of this, all is well. It's not something we really want to do to begin with, because we are so habituated into clinging and embracing our misery that that's where we think we have to be. I am not saying that we don't have to go through mourning and grief. We do. I mean, just before I left here, I officiated at a friend's memorial service, and twice during the week away in Florida, I'm crying all over the place as I think of my friend, and I begin to miss that friend. But I know it's okay, all is well for her and her dear ones and her loved ones, and it'll all work out. And I know for her anyway, definitely she's soaring. And it only all that amount of grief and crying and all the rest of it indicates to me just how much I loved her, just how much I appreciated her, how much she meant to me in my life. That's all it indicates. That's the only reason why that happens for me now. I'm not going to, be clinging to grief for grief's sake. Not at all. But it is rather strange. You're walking along in a perfectly wonderful, happy situation, and all of a sudden tears are pouring out of your lives, and they're saying, oh, is you okay? Is everything all right? I go, oh, yes, everything is really okay. It really is, But it's a movement of energy within you that needs release. And everything is good when you know that everything is good, and you make it good by the decision you've made around it. It's good. I don't know why this chronic awful thing has happened to me. It looks like a disaster, but I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to know that somehow or another life knows what life's doing by means of me, and I'm going to trust its process. And I'm going to know for myself, truly I'm going to know for myself, through the tears, through the whatever it is and all the rest of it, that this is leading me into an advanced level of awareness of myself as a person alive on this plane on purpose, along with the understanding that somehow or another I'm equal to this, whatever it is. I can handle it. I'm equal to it, because there's a power and a presence within me that's going to be my assist, a very real and present help. And I call Spirit on that very often. Okay, so it's written, you're a very real and present help. Well, be it now, because this is when I need it now, not tomorrow, not the next day. I don't want to process. God doesn't have to process anything, so I needn't process this now. I need help right here. I need help right now. And that's that, and this is it, and you better cough up your promise. I kid you not. From time to time, that's the conversation. But I'm always remembering I'm talking to myself anyway, Because God in us and through us and as us is the self of ourselves at a greater, higher level. All these angels that visit us and so on and so forth, they are our own essences at the higher level of expression. Ourself, our great self. It's a beautiful thing. So I ask us all this week to take it very seriously. The great responsibility that's given to you and that has been given to me, especially at this time on the planet Earth now, to be all that we can be, the best of ourselves, and to be out in the world showing up as a way to be, not as somebody that's telling everybody what to do, but as a way to be. Show up as a way to be, in kindness, in compassion, in understanding, in love. There are thousands and millions of ways that each and every one of us can give a portion of ourselves away. Give a portion of ourselves away and be blessed by it. And I'm telling you, once you start making this your pastime, your hobby, your life completely changes and you have a whole different take on yourself and everybody else. So how can we give a portion of ourselves away? Well, anytime an inkling crosses us to think well or to act well or to feel well, and we respond to it, then we're giving a portion of ourselves away to life. That might show up as you making a phone call that you really don't want to make, because you know you're going to be on this phone call for hours. But anyway, it crosses your mind to do it, and you respond to it and you do that. It might be you when you've just, my gosh, you've arrived at the time, you have a couple of hours for yourself. You can take care of your own self, your own business. You can enjoy yourself a couple of hours. Then a need crosses your path and you have a decision to make. Then when you answer the need, that's you being blessed. Blessed are you in that moment, for you are in the awareness of love, and so on. It's when you appreciate the wait staff and you let the wait staff know. That's a wonderful thing. It's when you're given good service in an apartment store. Not only do you thank the person, but you say, where's your manager? I want to see your manager. And you go to the manager and you say, you know what, this person, oh, this is just great. And the manager comes toward you saying, good God, what complaint is it now? See, the managers are not used to getting praise, you know, sharing. It's usually a complaint. All of that is you giving a portion of yourself away. You're responding to adding to life, to encouraging life, advancing life, promoting life, uplifting life. All of that, millions and bazillions of ways. When somebody snipes at you, instead of really taking out the double-loaded one and sniping back, you just don't do it. You don't go there. That's you being blessed in the awareness of love. That's you giving a portion of yourself away. This week, as well as reading and studying the Beatitudes, I'm asking you to make note of every time in every day you gave yourself away, a portion of yourself away, and rejoice in it. Be happy about it. Make it a game. Make it fun. I'll do more tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll even have more to write on this page, my page of the portion of myself that I gave away today. And the more you give away, the more you'll have to give away. And the more you give away, the more you're going to experience an increase in your life, and you're going to be blessed beyond anything you could imagine. Are we on this week for all of that? Because really and truly, let's, come on, roll up our spiritual sleeves and get down to it. Because this world really needs you to be out there being your great, good, blessed self. It's you. There's no one else going to do it. It's not going to be the governments. It's not going to be the group over there. It's not going to be those over there. It's not going to be the local saint in town, guru, whatever. No, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, it's you, and it's me. Me, you, and us. That's how it's going to happen. And I have every faith and confidence in this, my spiritual community, to know that we are on purpose, under that common purpose, and are out there making a difference in our world. And so it is. I'm knowing it.
We invite you to experience Dr. Moira in person on Sundays. Our services are at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m., and childcare is available. Please join us. If you enjoy these messages and would like to make a donation to our center, please visit our website at redondocsl.org. Thank you for your support of this ministry.